Shalom and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled Lo Tichanaim, Selling the Land of Israel to the Gentiles, in Heiter Michira. The Passuk in our Parasha V'Etchanan writes that Lo Tichanaim cannot marry Gentiles, that's clear. It also writes Lo Tichanaim. What does that mean, Lo Tichanaim? There are a few interpretations of Gemara in Avoda Zara, Chaf Amud Aleph 28. What it means, the one we'll focus in on, is the one regarding Shemitah. It says Lo Tichanaim, which means do not give them haniyah in the karka, place, a landing in the karka, piece of the land of Israel. And that, of course, is at the heart of the Heiter Michira, selling the land of Israel. That's the heart of the issue. Can you go ahead and sell the land of Israel to Gentiles? Do you have an issue of Lo Tichanaim? You're violating a biblical principle. The Rambam quotes this in Hilchot Avoda Zara, that you cannot go ahead and give the Gentiles a piece of the land of Israel. So it's very nice that you want to help out the Jewish farmers to go and give them the ability to work during the Shemitah year so they don't starve and they don't lose the share in the market, but you have to deal with the assessor. So this it was a raging issue and is still a raging issue. Where you're going to have those who permit it say this is the best thing that we could possibly do, and otherwise, if we don't do Heiter Michira, the farmers are going to work anyway on their own land without even trying to sell it, and they're going to lose. And if they just rest, they're going to lose the international share in the market. They're going to fall apart anyway, and we have no choice. May not be ideal, but this is the best situation given the reality. And others are going to say absolutely not. The Heiter Michira is completely wrong. And anyone who goes in and sells his land, it's not a sale. And when he's planting his cucumbers, he's not planting on a Gentile's land. He's planting on his own land. Those cucumbers are now called tzvichim. They are aser. They're prohibited. They're considered treif. They'll treif up the pots and pans. We have very extreme views on this very machloket here, on this Passuk in the Torah, Lo Tichanaim, from Parshat V'Etchanan. So this is a big topic. We actually discussed it in our Shemitah series. And someone can refer back to the Shemitah series to see, listen to all the shirim on that topic. But just in a nutshell, since this is our Parsha V'Etchanan, I thought it's worth it to spend a moment or two just to understand. So one of the key issues, there are several issues involved. One of the key issues in this machlokes that goes back several centuries. People think somehow Rav Kook created it. No, he supported it, but he did not create it. It goes back to Hebron a few hundred years ago. And then it began a very big argument again in the late 1800s, before Rav Kook was on the scene with the great Gedolim, both in Eretz Yisrael and the Chutz La'aretz. And Rav Kook came along and supported it, but it wasn't his creation in any way. So one of the key points is, what is the Isser of Lo Tichanaim? If it is a fixed Isser to sell the land of Israel, Nikudah, end of discussion, then you can't sell. And the only way you could sell is if you're going to die. And it would be like one of the halachot that you violate every halacha in the Torah in order not to die. So a person could break into a store if he's about to starve to death and take the food from there. It's a halacha pikuach nefesh. Anything short of that, and Shabbat driving pikuach nefesh, we all know that. So, but if a person is not about to die, then what's the permit to sell the land? It's an issur to sell the land. End of discussion. And many went that way. The Gedolim 100 years ago, many of them already in Yerushalayim went that way. The Chazon went that way. And of course, Kohain goes that way as well. There's an issur to sell the land, end of discussion. So what's the rationale on the other side? It's hard, it's difficult, it's challenging. We have a share in the market that we could lose if we don't supply every 7. Okay, it's hard. But if you don't bring in the words pikuach nefesh, life-threatening, what's the permit? So one of the key ideas behind the lenient side is that it's not an issur per se. It's not that you cannot sell the land. Rather, you cannot go ahead and enhance the guy's claim and his settlement in the land of Israel. That's what you cannot do. But it's not that you cannot make out the shtar, right? A contract to the guy, and that's yes or no. It's you cannot give him a hold on the land of Israel. If that's what it is, you can't give him a hold on the land of Israel, so then we need to look broader. And if the halach is you cannot give him a hold on the land of Israel, so wait a second. What if by me signing this contract with him, I'm actually going to be lessening his hold on the land of Israel, and I'm going to give myself, the farmer, a stronger hold, because I'll be able to remain in Israel, and I'll remain on my farm, and I'm going to keep cultivating it, as opposed to if I don't do this, I'm going to lose my farm, and it's going to end up who knows where. So that's the key. We know what the story about Robin Hood. Stole from the rich and gave to the poor. No, sorry, Robin Hood. You cannot steal from the rich. Yes, but my motivation is good. And if someone is involved in swindling the government to steal money from the government to give to Yeshiva, no. Chas v'shalom. You don't violate the Isser of stealing. It's a fixed Isser, end of discussion. But giving the land of Israel, that's it? You cannot make a contract with a guy to sell him the land, or you cannot give him a stronger hold on the land. It's part of a broader picture. And if it's part of a broader picture, then there's a lot more room. So that was really at the key, at the heart of the situation, how you analyze the Isser of Lo Tichanaim from our Parsha. And that, of course, led to two very different approaches. To those that say absolutely not, there's nothing to talk about, and those that say no, there is a legitimate heter, and given the situation, we have to run with that heter. Other factors came along that maybe it's only a selling of the land permanently, that's the prohibition. Here we're only selling it for temporary time, or maybe it's only selling it to idolaters, and here we're selling it to people who are monotheists. And maybe we're only selling the top part of the land, not all the way down. A lot of different details came up along the way as the years developed. But one of the main issues, as we discussed, is how you define the two words in our Parsha Lo Tichanaim. Is it a fixed Isser per se to sell the land, end the discussion? Or is it Isser to give him a hold in the land? And then there would be room to look into it at a deeper level and see which way would give him more of a hold on the land, the Gentiles, selling it or not selling it. And that, of course, opened up the whole topic. There are Gedolim, great people on both sides of the topic over here, and it should be viewed as a machloket, l'shem shamayim, hopefully, on all sides. And yet, Hashem, we should have the Mikdash back, and we should have the Shemitah from the biblical perspective, where we have God's guarantee, according to all opinions, that if we keep the Shemitah and we rest, He will guarantee us that we will have a bumper crop the following years. And in Yetz Hashem, the temporary measure that the Heiter Michira was brought in for, the rabbi said it was a temporary measure until we have the right situation back again. We should have that situation back with biblical Shemitah once again, and then we could rest and spend the whole year in spiritual pursuits, and Hashem will bless us with all the riches and brachot. Shalom.